Hi, welcome back to the channel, Train Station 2, giving you an update on USA Railroad Revolution last competition, and of course sharing with you this great train I got from those daily bonus. Alright, so just so you know that we are all striving our best in the last competition, trying to gain the most out of it, and starting late is really fantastic here. In my previous video I mentioned I was starting about 12 hours late. This is really great because that put me in place together with those human-like competitors. So these competitors would need sleep like me and not just playing 24 hours a day and then spending gems, i.e. those pay-to-win kind of competitors. So I was really happy to be in the same group of human-like and probably just free to play. So as usual, gonna collect lots of those upgrade materials and then gonna expand the fleet's capacity, which is really crucial. So if you are thinking of shifting to another region, as currently you are part of this event, would it be a good idea to do it after the event or in the middle of the event? As I understand, it's always good to do it after the event because normally there'll be 48 hours after the event, so that you could spend your time trying to gather all the required items for the last few deliveries you need to do, and then gain those event keys. Okay, there's no event coins after the post-event kind of 48 hours. Normally it's for you to complete the jobs on hand if you could, and then gain that event keys so that you can claim your rewards within that 48 hours. So you got to bear in mind on that. Alright, so we'll come to that maybe in the next video or so, then we'll discuss more on that. But currently there's still a period of time. You can see there about 2 days before the end of the event, and then what we got to do is basically trying our best to fight this current competition by planning the resource well. So what you can do is, of course, if you have like 3 jobs, right? So what you could do is to measure in terms of per train capacity vis-a-vis the other one. So like for example, you got 3 of them and one that you has delivered, and the train capacity for your next one would be a very small, like 6 or even 4. So you may want to rethink whether you want to use that dispatcher to do that delivery, or you want to use that dispatcher to better good use to deliver the next item, given the fact that although we should always focus on just one delivery so that it can complete and climb the ranks, given that it's a first come first serve kind of ranking procedure. The first one you can see there, both of us are 240, but he hit the 240 first, he'll be rank 1 and I'll be rank 2. So it is good to focus on one, but at the same time you got to balance between in terms of train capacity. If your capacity for that delivery is probably just 4, and the other one that for the next item is, let's say, 40, because you require a good legendary train which you have, then why not do that 40, because it will definitely be much faster. Although initially you may lose out, but if you can concurrently complete 2 deliveries, you may not only get 45 EP, but times 2, i.e. 90 EP for 2 of the jobs. So this is some kind of a resource prioritization you're going to manage. At the same time, you always got to keep those items ready so that when your trains comes back, there's no wastage of time. So you got to bear in mind, always have standby of items. If not, when your trains are back, you got nothing to deliver. That'd be a good waste of time. So you got to bear in mind this, and try to always, when the trains comes back, try to plan forward, and then try to have those items gathered using those trains that come back, and before you send them off for delivery again, because you got to bear in mind every train out is a 1 hour, unless you want to keep an errand train, which means that you're going to keep the trains that runs all the errand at your site. Every time there's 1 spare train, but that means that you have 1 less train for those dispatch to that competition destination. So of course it's your own kind of playing pattern, and of course your own wish, but I'll urge you not to do so. Rather use them when it comes back to gather all the materials required, and sometimes it's good and faster to have 6 trains running all the errands, and then once it's done, send 6 out again. So that will also be better time management for your game, unless you want to be 24/7 on your game. So you could just play for a few minutes, and then 1 hour later you can come back again. So that's not what normally I would do. That's why you can see snippets of all these clips are all taken in every hourly basis. So you got to bear in mind that the train's capacity is 1, but your factory capacity is dependent on whether you upgraded your factory or not. As you move along, I mean, when you progress further, your upgrades or factory will require more gems, so it's good to always try to save up gems unless it's really necessary. Try not to spend those gems and save it for your factory upgrades instead. So you can bear in mind this train capacity is important, factory capacity is equally important. Do not really so-called neglect them, because if you neglect them, eventually you'll be able to slow down drastically. Of course, do not spend too much on the event factory because you'll be gone once the event is over. So this is something also to bear in mind. Of course, you can say that you want to do that because you want to fight for a competition to get a good ranking, but it may not be totally necessary. In my opinion, just one set of 30 gems to upgrade that factory, the event factory once, I think that's very good enough. It will last you throughout the event. Just bear in mind, start late and that'd be good enough. And you save up your gems. You could either use it to upgrade your factory in your station, or if you really need to, use it to engage one additional dispatcher, especially when you are fighting a really tough or neck-to-neck kind of competition. So that's something I'll advise you to do so in terms of spending your gems. But of course, the best is still using those gems to upgrade your factory. There are also offers in terms of gems to buy the older region trains. You could do that if you really want. If not, I will urge you to wait for the restart of the Seaport event. If there's really such an event coming again, you'll earn a lot of the previous region trains, so much more than you could buy using gems. So I urge you use your gems wisely by doing factory upgrade. I think that's the best option of all. So of course you can see me now making deliveries of these railroad items, but at the same time we got to be sure that we have that sufficient items, and there are certain jobs you can't bin away, so you got to bear in mind those are the jobs you got to complete regardless. So this is something you got to take note. Some of the items you can don't deliver, which is there's a bin next to it, like you see there. So I'm going to bin this and replace it with something else when it's possible. So currently I've dropped to second. Of course, the first one seems to be a bit tough in terms of competitor, but I think we'll be having a good neck-to-neck fight. So most probably I'm going to engage the additional dispatcher to help me on that. At the same time, do always claim those free upgrade materials and upgrade capacity. That will go a long way in terms of your delivery increased capacity. Okay, just watch that one video and claim the as much as possible. Alright, so that's really important, something you gotta bear in mind. And of course, always try your best to use up all the available factory spaces, input and output, to store your things and stand by in terms of quantity. But this is for the event, not for your day-to-day. Once you go back to peacetime, i.e. non-event time, you're going to measure it totally differently. Alright, so that's something you got to bear in mind. Otherwise you may have all your factories stuck. So back to peacetime, do not store your factory all the way to the brim, because sometimes you cannot predict what's going to come out. But in the event, you just want to stand by because you're running out of time, right? So during peacetime you have all the time. Do not clock up your factory. So this is one thing you got to bear in mind. After this event, you got to clear out wherever you require to make sure your factory runs smoothly with good at least one output tray ready to have that production running. Otherwise everything will be clocked up. Very soon we will reach the daily bonus kind of container, and I'm going to show you this. This is from the daily bonus. Alright, really happy to get this green arrow, and of course I'm checking out this green arrow. Is it something I do not have? But apparently I already had 3 this is my third green arrow, but I'm still happy because it's an epic 45, although the capacity is only 12 at the juncture, but I think it's a good epic train I will keep. This reminds me to remind you basically when not to dismantle the trains. Try to keep all the epic trains and even rare trains and common trains. Trains are hard to come by, but upgrade materials you can get daily basis. So what you can tend to do is that unless you got let's say more than 7 of the same kind, then you can go ahead and dismantle them, because just imagine that it's a double restriction in terms of type and region of trains. Then you may be hit with just lack of trains to do your job. So this is something I bear in mind. If you have 7, sometimes you got 7 dispatcher, right? So if more than 7, you can go ahead and dismantle. Otherwise, try to keep them. It could be very good use in terms of your competition and yeah, other events. All right, I hope you like this video. Do like and subscribe. I'll update you again, and hopefully you get a good ranking, and I hope so too. Goodbye.